Hello, everyone. And today we'll be introducing and talking about a very important topic for medical writers. All right, so this is referencing and bibliography. So let's proceed with the content now. Right, so plagiarism and citations, they are all about giving the acknowledgement to whoever it has created an idea or that work which is of somebody else's, but you are using it or you are putting it into your own idea, your argument, or you are trying to negate or reinforce. So you want to give that person the acknowledgement that yeah, this is based on the opinion of X or this is based on the opinion of Y. So you have a context of reference, so you say. In other words, it is a real reference in your idea versus their idea, or their thought versus your thought. So you are giving that reference to that thought. Right. So the first slide reads as is: as one develops one's own ideas and arguments and uses other work to support or contrast one's views, it is important to identify which ideas belong to oneself and which belong to the other person. In other words, your thought, your idea versus the thought and idea of somebody else. And therefore, you should acknowledge each other. One should always acknowledge any ideas and work that were not initially owned by providing a reference to the source of that information. Right. So if you see the slide presentation that we are also giving you references from where we have taken the content to make the slides. In other words, we are acknowledging that yeah, this work was represented here, and we have represented it in our version over here. So we are giving references, right? So that is what referencing and bibliography is all about, where you are acknowledging somebody else's work. Now, these are examples of what is not plagiarism. In other words, this was, as long as the citation is provided and the reference, one can reuse tables, diagrams, and images. In other words, although the color and everything may be the same, and yes, you should change the colors, right? In other words, rather than orange, you can have some other color. So in other words, the image should look at least differently. But you can give a reference that where you have taken the subject matter from, and then it will be plagiarism free. Right? So plagiarism, how do you define plagiarism? Plagiarism is defined as presenting somebody else's work as your own. In other words, somebody else has done the research or the writing, but you are just copy pasting from there and claiming it to be yours, right? And if you are quoting without quote unquote or a citation, so that is plagiarism. Or if you are paraphrasing or summarizing without a citation, that is also plagiarism. If you are using images, tables, graphs without a citation, that is plagiarism. Reusing your own work, which was previously marked, but you are using that, so you should cite it also. Collaborating on what should be individual work, forgetting to cite is still plagiarism. In other words, when in doubt, just cite. In other words, plagiarism will only go away when you have a lot of citations. And if you think, should I or should I not, it's always better to go on the path of safety and good work ethic. You cite and you give the reference of where you are taking what from, so that way nobody can accuse you of plagiarism. Right? So what is a citation? A citation is basically the text which shows you where the published or unpublished source is can be found. In other words, it's showing you from where you have seen, read, or heard, or where that information originally you have seen, or wherever you have understood from which point. Right? So, in other words, a citation is an abbreviated alphanumeric expression embedded in the body of an intellectual work that denotes an entry in the bibliographic references section of the work to acknowledge the relevance of the works of others to the topic of discussion at the spot where the citation appears. Generally, the combination of both in-body citation and bibliographic entry constitute what is commonly thought of as a citation. Okay, what you will normally find is that the references usually come, they are numbered, and whereas the bibliography is just a list of the sources from where the author or the authors have been, educated, or acknowledging that, yeah, this is the source matter which we have used, or, we have gone through. And based on that, we are preparing our thought and our document on it.
As Sir previously discussed about why referencing must be done. So, the referencing is how we acknowledge the sources of information we use in our writing. It also distinguishes between our ideas and those taken from other works, and also it builds credibility and allows others to verify our claims. So, they should be able to trace back every idea, the fact, or quote to its original source. So, these are the resources used in this PPT. If you look at these two examples, one in the left, this is the first one is the original source, and the second one you can see it is paraphrased, which is rewriting someone's idea. But if you see, there is no the source is not given under this paraphrasing, so still it is considered as plagiarism, but it's a kind of paraphrasing plagiarism, rewriting someone's idea without citing the original source. If you see the other one in the right side of the slide, there are two articles. They, despite they give the same information about the long papers, and both the articles are written by the same writer. You can see one is published in 2012 and other one is published in 2013, and one is published in different journal and the other one in the other journal. Still, in the second article, the writer did not cite the source of this content. So, still, this is considered as plagiarism. This is a kind of self plagiarism, reusing your own previously submitted work without proper citation. So, this is a proper example of citation. You can see the citation is given under the figure. Even if you're using tables, images, or graphs, you need to credit the creator. You need to provide the citation under that figure, graph, or image. So then one can use the tables, reuse the tables, diagrams, and images as long as the citation is provided. So plagiarism is defined as presenting someone else's work as your own without giving the credit to the author, someone else's work or ideas. It can occur in various forms, such as copying the text directly or paraphrasing without citation, using images or tables without permission, and even reusing one's previously submitted work without acknowledgement. So, always try to cite sources when you're using direct codes or ideas or data, anything, or the images, always cite the sources. And also, you can use the plagiarism checking tools like Turnitin to verify the originality. Even if you're paraphrasing, use proper citation. Let us understand what is citation. So, citation can refer to any published or unpublished material that supports a writer's claim. It does not always have to be the original work, but it should accurately reflect where the information was obtained. So, a citation is an alphanumeric reference. If you see, so can you provide any example for in body citations, sir, in text?
Right. So normally when you are reading some text, you may come across some sentences which will have some brackets in between the text. It'll name the author and the year, right? So that is known as
The
in-text
in-text
citation.
citation.
It is
Right. In
there
other
on
words,
slide 13. The example of in-text citation, it is there on slide 13.
So this in-text citation corresponds to a full reference entry in the bibliography or reference list at the end of the document. So basically, the in-text citation appears in the body of the text, whereas the references are located at the end of the document. So why is citation important? It shows that you have done proper research. It allows the readers to verify your sources. It helps you to avoid plagiarism. It gives you a solid evidence to support your ideas and arguments. So always use credible and good quality sources. So when and what to cite. So within and at the end of the text, you have to provide the citation and references. So it applies to facts, figures, ideas, and theories whenever using data, figures, images from another source, even from the books, journals, internet, videos, lecture notes, etc. So there is an exception for citation uh, if it is some uh, from common knowledge. For example, you say water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. That doesn't need a citation. So common knowledge or any theories doesn't need citation. What is referencing? So it is the process of giving credit to sources used in a study. It is a complete list of all the sources used in the research that are provided at the end of the document. It gives you the full details of all the cited sources, allowing the readers to locate them. They are found at the end of the document under references. So, when not to reference? While referencing is essential, some information does not require citation. Some common knowledge, like I told you, the widely accepted facts, general knowledge, that does not need to be cited. If your own original ideas or analysis, if you're presenting your own arguments, interpretation, or conclusions, which are not directly borrowed from another source, you do not need a reference. And if you conducted some experiment or survey and you're reporting your own findings, you do not need to reference them. So you can see the examples of the references. Here you can see the authors' names, the year in which they published, the title of that title of the article, and also the journal, the page numbers, and all.
Right. So I'll just like to add that if you see the spears, R, and shields, right? So that is actually a book, right? That is why it is referenced like that, 11th edition, London Macmillan, and even the Saunders, right? These are books. Whereas, in other words, they have no journal name. In other words, they are just publication houses. Whereas on the right side, you may see some that, yeah, they have PLOS, biology, applied tree biology. So those are journals. So you should be able to make out each one, whether it's a book or a journal.
So this is the referencing checklist from the Open University based on the Cite Them Right Harvard referencing style. So it provides a structured table outlining the essential details required for the referencing, like from various sources such as books, journal articles, web pages, and module materials. So this checklist includes fields like author, year of publication, the title of the article, or if it's a book, the chapter, web page, site page, the title of the publication, year of the publication, issue information, publisher, edition, the URL, the DOI, and the date when they're accessed or downloaded. So it serves as a useful guide to ensure proper citation of sources in academic writing, in-text citation and reference list. So the in-text citation these are the brief citations within the body of the text that indicate when you're referring to or paraphrasing or quoting someone else's work. So the common styles, there are two styles we use. One is author and the date method, in which the author and the year, the publication year, then that information appears. That is the author date method. The other is the numeric method. We use numbers uh, within the body of the text. That is the numeric method. The reference list. So it is the complete list of references which are provided at the end of the document that provides the full details of all the sources cited. So they follow a specific referencing style. For example, the APA or ML, the Vancouver style. All these are different referencing style. So the in-text citation, they provide brief credit inside the text, whereas the reference list gives complete detail at the end of the document. You can see in this reference the chapter, the author names, publication year, the title of the chapter, the title of the book, the pages of the chapter, and also the name of the publisher can be seen. This is the complete reference which are provided at the end of the document. So, as I explained before in the previous slide, these are the various parts of the reference: the author, year of the publication, the title, uh, the journal title, volume number, issue number, the page range, and also the DOI can be seen.
So, PubMed is a very commonly used site for medical writers, and obviously they have a side button there, as you can see the green arrow over there. So I always, even if I find any source from a non-PubMed site, I would put the title in PubMed and try and just get the reference from there because it does it automatically. You don't have to use your brain. So this is a lazy way to do it. So you put that title or whatever article you need, you put it in PubMed, you search it, you find it, and then you go to cite and you press the cite button. And when you do that, you will get something like this, right? And this allows you to choose which format you want in terms of, APA, AMA, MLA, NLM. And you can press that button on the left, the copy button, and it will just copy that for you without any hassle, right? And once you copy it, you can paste it on wherever you want it. Okay? And as you can see, the authors are there, then the title comes, the abbreviated journals, names in italics. All right. A lot of people forget that the journal always has an abbreviated form, like Nat Rev Cardiol. That's the abbreviation form, right? So it's not the full form of the full name of the article of the journal, but that's the abbreviation. So it needs to be in italics and it should be in caps, NRC, they're in caps, right? Then you know the year, the month, the issue, the volume, and the page numbers. Then the DOI and all, these are IDs like PubMed ID and all. So we don't need those in the citation when you're doing text work because the text, they're going to read the text. If it's a link, that yeah, DOI will be applicable there, so they can press that and that will redirect them to another a landing page or the source. But when you're doing print inputs, so you don't need DOI, PMID, and PCMID.
So now, in this section, we'll take a look at what is a bibliography. How is a bibliography different from a usual reference list? Okay, so basically we'll be focusing on these two points. So bibliography. Bibliography is an ancient Greek word. It breaks down into biblion and graphia. Biblion meaning book and graphia means writing. So that's how we came up with the modern term bibliography. So what is bibliography? It is actually, technically, it is the systematic cataloging or forming a list of printed, usually published works. It can be books, it can be articles, they can include studies, like list of documents, usually published documents like books and articles. It can so a bibliography usually provides full information, references, or a complete entire list of sources that have been referred to by the author or by the researcher prior to initiating the study, or to gain an idea or form a hypothesis. So bibliography is the basic from where the researcher or the author is drawing the idea. So it is a very vast source. Usually bibliography could be very vast. It could include a lot of a lot of references, a lot of this. A reference is a bibliography, but a bibliography cannot be a reference. We'll look into the details so that picture will become clearer. So where is bibliography found? Usually at the end of the book, article, or research paper. It comprises all the references cited in the form of footnotes and other important works the author has studied. So whatever the author has read, the author has studied, as well as he has cited in the current writer that is a part of the bibliography. How is a bibliography helpful to the reader? It helps in dispensing information regarding the literature available on the topics and what influenced the author. So, like I previously said, the idea, the hypothesis of the research or the article, the idea when it generates. So, from where does the author generate that idea? What does he read to inculcate that idea? All that is included in the bibliography. So this is an example of a bibliography list, a full bibliography. This bibliography is a compilation of all bibliographic references from each page. Page numbers that appear at the end of each entry link to the bibliography sections that included. Please click on the URL or on the page number to access the linked item. So basically, this is an example. When you see the the numerals in blue, like 6, 11, 16, 22. So what the writer has done is that the writer has, I guess this is a bibliography of a book, since it's very vast, and the writer has linked the certain sections to the certain sections of his or her book to the references as cited in the, as mentioned in the bibliography. So when you click on the blue numerals, for example, if you're clicking on the number 6, you will be directly taken to the section which has been referenced from the first reference, that is different ways to write digital audio effect programs. So what you will be reading is similar to the title mentioned over here. Now, what are the types of bibliography? First is bibliography of works cited. It contains names of those books whose content has been cited in the text of the research report. So whatever citations, only the citations that have been mentioned in the research, that will be included as the bibliography. No other sources of data will be mentioned. Then we come to selected bibliography. So selected bibliography covers only those works which the author assumes that are of major interest to the reader. So when an author is writing something, or when an author is writing his or her research work, and then they include a list of bibliography which they might have found interesting and they would like to share with the reader, which would provide a refined perspective on the topic which the author is writing, which would be a very vast or detailed or a very reliable source of information for the author. So the readers can refer to those sources as well to authenticate the content written by the author, as well as to dive deeper into the topic. And then we come to the annotated bibliography. The author provides a brief description of the topics covered to ensure readability and improve the book's usefulness. So this is in an annotated bibliography style. The author just writes a brief description of whatever references or sources they have used or they have come across to form their write-up. So that is a very different kind of bibliography style. I have not come across it practically, but that is one of the styles of bibliography which are used. Comparison of references versus bibliography. So here we'll get an idea of what is the basic difference between a reference list and bibliography. First, let's understand the purpose behind both of these lists. Basically, they are just lists of data or list of sources. So when you see the first blue bubble, the blue oval, the primary use of references is to get recognition and authentication of the research work. A bibliography is appended to give the reader information on the sources relating to the topic. So these two points, they show you the how they a bibliography and how a reference list is differs. So a reference is only authentic citation of data or of sources that are used in the particular research article or particular book or particular writer, while bibliography contains, like I discussed earlier, bibliography contains all the sources, all the references, books, ideas, everything that the writer has referred to or the researcher has referred to prior to initiating or prior to generating a hypothesis or an idea. Now, the basis for comparison, meaning reference implies the list of sources that has been referred in the research work. Bibliography is about listing out all the materials which has been consulted during the research work. The reference is based on primary sources, while the bibliography is based on both primary and secondary sources. Over here, I would like to throw light on what are the primary and secondary sources of data. The primary sources are basically that are generated by the researcher who is doing the work, who is researching the data source. So the data generated by that researcher is included in primary sources. Also, statistics analysis, statistics done by the government, those given out by the government, those are primary sources of data. uh, Surveys, raw surveys done at ground level, those are primary sources of data, while secondary sources of data are systematic reviews, review articles, commentaries, expert opinions, letter to the editor. Those all are considered as secondary sources of references. Arrangement. Alphabetically, reference is arranged both alphabetically and numerically, while bibliography is only arranged numerically. A reference includes only in-text citations that have been used in the assignment or project. Like in the previous slides, we saw what are in-text citations. They can be mentioned in brackets or they can be mentioned as superscript numericals also. And the reference will include only those. Those are specifically mentioned in your assignment or project. While bibliography includes both in-text citations and other sources that are used to generate the idea, like we have already discussed. Supporting argument. So a reference can be used as a to support an argument. So a reference can be used to authenticate the researcher's claim of data, of efficacy of a molecule. So whatever the researcher is claiming, as we go through the discussion, especially if we are talking about medical related documents, when we go through the discussion part, there are lots of references, lots of similar studies, what they have come up with, and how they are supporting the current study or the current data generated by the researcher. So those are all our references, and the researcher has used those references to strengthen the findings of his study. While a bibliography cannot be used to support an argument, the bibliography, basically the function of bibliography is to provide more sources of interest, more sources for the reader to delve deeper into the idea or into the particular topic, when it is and cannot be used particularly to support an argument or to put forward a point. A reference is used for thesis and dissertation, while bibliography is generally used for journal papers and research. So, what sources can be used as a reference? Standard journal articles, books and other monographs, conference proceedings and papers, scientific or technical reports, dissertations, patent. Other published material, newspaper article, audiovisual material, legal material, dictionary and similar references, unpublished material in press, electronic material, CD-ROM, journal article on the internet, home page website, database on the internet. So since now we are more inclined, of course, not even inclined, everybody, we use the electronic databases to research for our content. So we obviously will be using something like PubMed or Google Scholar. So when we are using those, what we are actually, we are not actually going, we are going through the online published content. Most of the time what we are reading and what we are referencing is online published content, and then we have a DOI for each piece of article that is present online, or each scientific piece that is present online, we have a DOI, and that is also included as a part of electronic referencing system.
I'll just like to add over here that whenever you are using a source for a reference, it should be authentic, all right? Because these days, everybody is blogging, everybody is commenting, everybody is putting things on the net. So whenever you are using a source as a reference, you have to know how authentic that reference source may be. Because, if you are dealing with scientific information, you have to ascertain that, yeah, this is not a consumer driven site or a paid site, or it has some other interests, so to say. So then don't use those as your reference, because that will be biased. In other words, use authentic references as much as possible.
So, referencing tools. Keeping track of all references and consistently following referencing style might seem daunting, but there are many tools that can help you manage and format citations and correctly. So we have such tools such as Mendeley, EndNote, Zotero. Personally, I am a bit familiar with both Mendeley and EndNote. So these are basically, they help you maintain your list of references while you are writing. You can install the software in your laptop or on your device, and then while you are writing and as you are downloading your references, you can feed them into the software or into the system. And then you'll have to be, and you have a lot of options also, like you can select the style of citation inside the software. So basically, like, this is from my dissertation, so it's kind of a long time back. So over here, when you see, if you can see from behind, these are my original files or my original sources, the references which I had added at that time. Like, this was years back when I had done it, so I'm a bit rusty. So these are my original; those were my original sources, and so over here you can select whatever citation style you want. You can select over here. Yeah. So whatever citation style you want, you can select from here. You can select the document that you want to cite, then you can select the citation style. Just give me a minute, I'll just get it done properly. So this is the Mendeley on my laptop. I'm selecting the library. Okay, so this is, as you can see, this when I was writing my dissertation for my master's. This was my, you can say, bibliography. This is not exactly what everything I have included in the reference list, but this was a bibliography. These were the sources which I had added, which I had downloaded. So all this was there. And then now I have added, as I'm writing, I'm also adding them in my Mendeley tool. Then, for example, okay, this is one of the articles. I'm selecting it. So formatted citations copy to clipboard. So the citation will be copied directly to the clipboard, and then we can copy paste it. There's one more option which I tried earlier. So this is the add references. So when you have downloaded something, a reference on your desktop or in one of your files, you can import that file from here. You can directly press, for example, if I'm doing, okay, okay. So I'm uploading this one original article which I've downloaded on my system. I'm uploading it in the Mendeley tool. And from here, as you can see, in Mendeley, you don't have to insert all the information separately. For example, you don't have to insert the author's name or the publication. They will directly generate it. See, as you can see, one file uploaded, one reference generated, and then you can copy paste the citation from here. The only thing is that I was able to change the style of citation. I'm not seeing that window right now. Okay, then you have the filters also. You can search by author's name. You can search by tags. I don't know about the tags, but usually you can search by author's name and then all references, and then you can sort. Like, mine is not sorted. I have done it a long time back, but you can sort it. If you're writing multiple papers and all, then you can sort your references according to the papers. Right now it's a mix of a lot of other different articles also. So referencing styles. A referencing style is a specific format for presenting your in-text references, footnotes or endnotes, as well as bibliography. So we are quite familiar as writers. There are every journal, every content that you put up, wherever you are submitting it, or maybe it's a blog, they have a specific style of citation or specific style of reference that they have already mentioned, which is required. If there is a specific style of citation, means do you have to cite your references in brackets within the text, or do you use superscript numericals? And a specific style of references means the Vancouver, AMA, APL, like that will come in the next slide. Provides information needed to be included in the reference, the order in which information should appear, and how it should be formatted in Word. So this is what is included under the referencing styles. How are we to write the reference, the order. For example, do you want the names of the author first, or do you want the name of the article first? So every referencing style has the different order or sequence of writing. Provide specific instructions for different information types too. For example, a reference for a book will look different from a reference for a website. May vary from one organization to the other. Most editorial documents have in-house referencing style guides or manuals. Carefully read the referencing style requirements. Publishers are very particular about them. So, as discussed, if you are writing for a journal, if you're writing for a publication, you have to be very careful about the citation style which they allow. So, there are 20 different styles of referencing, as you can see on the slide. The most common, which we use in our field, are APA, A. Yeah, no, this A is also a common one. Then American Psychological Association, that is also another common one. Chicago, Harvard style. Then Vancouver is one of the common styles which is followed in medical writing. So, also one thing I would like to add, that it is not necessary to by heart or to know how each and every style of referencing is written. It's very easy, like Sir showed earlier, practically, how can you just change the style of citation, and you can select your style of citation, and the text will come in that order. So, these days there are such tools like I showed Mendeley. So, those tools also can very easily write up your citation in the format or in the style that you want. Now, the concept of footnotes and endnotes, and how are both of these different? A footnote is a note or a reference to a source of information that appears at the bottom of a page. Should be numerical and chronological. As you can see, footnote appears at the bottom of each and every page. Should appear after the relevant punctuation in the text, if any, and generally at the end of the sentence. So over here you can see they have shown visually where is the footnote marker and how it is present at the end of the page. The advantage of footnoting is that readers can look down the page to discover a reference source that interests them. So basically the reader does not have to turn a lot of pages, to go to till the end of the document or scroll down. If they're reading on a device, they don't need to scroll down completely and get to the end to check the reference, or to authenticate, to go through the reference into the detail. It is present at the end of the page. Each footnote is present at the end of the page, which makes it easier for the reader, to instantly go through that source. Endnotes are different, as they are placed at the end of the paper, document, or chapter rather than at the bottom of each page. Examples of the use of footnotes and endnotes. So this over here on your left, you can see the example of footnotes. If you see the second image on the left, you can see that when work began on the Pantheon. So you can see a superscript number 1, and on the same page at the end, they will have number 1 mentioned, and they will have a brief description, the temple of Athena Pantheos on the Acropolis at Athens. So they'll have a brief description. Sometimes on the top image, you can see a reference, whatever it is, they will have a brief description linked to that footnote. While on the right, you can see an example of endnotes. It is always at the end of the entire document, whatever you are reading, and it will be in a chronological or numerical order. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be ordered that like that. Use of et al. In the citation, the abbreviation et al. Meaning and others. So what is the meaning of et al? Basically, it means and others. It is as simple as that. So et al. Is used to shorten APA in-text citations with 3 or more authors. Only include the first author's last name, followed by et al., a comma, and year of publication. So usually APA, they allow if in the APA style of referencing, if there are more than 3 authors, you can include the first author's last name and just add et al. So that will be clear to the reader that there are more authors, and they can always go to the original reference, look up the names. For the Vancouver style, I think 6 are allowed. 6 after, if there are more than 6 authors, you need to add et al. After the first author's name. So it depends on different citations, different citation styles, how to use the et al. So over here, as you can see, there's one in-text citation, Barnett et al. 2013. And then in the reference list, you can see how they've mentioned Barnett et al. And there are other, I think there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 authors have been mentioned in the reference section. Okay, there's one more example of use of et al. So over here, as you can see, Carroll et al., Paolo, Chen et al., Stocker et al. So because these are in-text citations, it is not always possible to use, all the authors' names. That's why, especially in in-text citations, they have used et al. Everywhere. If you are using numericals for in-text citations, then it's not a problem. You don't have to use it this way. But yeah, still in the reference sections, we here in the reference sections, they have not used et al, but some of the referencing styles allow the use of et al for more authors.
So as we have explained in the PPT, in the presentation, that there are different styles of referencing style. So this is the Vancouver style. And as you can see, we have given the how it's done. In other words, Arabic numbers are in brackets, right? And whether it's superscript or brackets, a number is allocated in the order in which it is first cited. So, in other words, the first reference that you put will be number one, superscript. And even if that is used further down in the content, it will still be number one only. The number will not change to number five if you have used it again. If it's number one, it will always be number one throughout that article. And for example, if you have multiple references, you can use a hyphen to join the first and last number. In other words, you will have 1-5. So in other words, that includes reference 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So that's the Vancouver. And you can use comma without spaces to separate. In other words, if you have 2, 3, 5, 7, 10. So you can put 2 to 5 and then comma 7 and 10. So that means 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 and 10. Right? So uh, every reference style is a little different. So you should know the fine, aspects of it. Right? For example, you are saying Malhotra 3, right? This 3 should be superscript, but you put it there so that people can know, okay, this is the third reference. All right. So this was the Vancouver, and this is again the Vancouver. They are just showing you how it's done. In other words, in text references, you are having Higgins 1, Clements 2, right? And then at the end of the document, then you will see the full citation. In other words, the author, the name of the article, where it's published, what year it's published in, right? So that comes like that. Whether if it's a book or an article, then it will be a little different each time. Yeah, this is again example of a Vancouver style, the family name and initial, like Snowdown J. So J is the first name of the author. Snowdown is the last name of the author. Then you have the title of the article. Then you have the abbreviated journal title. If you remember the Med today, this is in red. It doesn't have to be in red. We're just showing you as a highlight that this is the abbreviation of that journal. And it should be in italics also. Then you have the publication year, the month, the issue number and the volume and the page 40 to 47, right? So that's showing you that, yeah, this is in this particular journal in issue 3 volume 12, this is where you will find this article, right? So this is a Vancouver style, and if you are having 3 to 6 authors, then you can include them and do it as you are seeing here, or you can do it with just the way it has been done in the second one. Et al. After 3 authors, they have put et al. Rather than list all 6. Right? So 3 authors and then et al. Right? This is also okay. This is an electronic article, so it would have the link where it is. And DOI number is digital object identifier. In other words, anytime you put something on the net, it comes with a DOI, so you can identify it and you can access it through that link. All right, so these are all examples of Vancouver styles. You can pause the PPT or the video and you can go through them. Right, this is again the author of Vancouver style in books. Right, in other words, when you are doing a book citation, this is how it should be. If you have one author, it's like this: 2 to 6 authors, and more than 6 authors, it would be like that. Right, this is more examples of Vancouver style. Further, more examples of Vancouver style, how you cite a web page, how you cite a newspaper, how you cite a magazine. All right, this is the Harvard referencing style. In the Harvard referencing style, you will notice that the year comes immediately after the authors. In other words, it doesn't come at the end, right? So that is a little different. And the title, as you are seeing, the Public Relation Handbook, that's in italics, right? So every referencing style is a little bit different, but it's more or less giving you, yes, the authors, the year, the publication details, right? So And you can automatically change these, or if you are doing it manually, once you know how it's done, then it's easy to do it. All right, these are examples of how it's styled. In an author date style, in text, I usually require the author name. Right, you can read this. The PP would be the page numbers, right? PP 131, 132, page 105, if it's just a single page, right? So P means one page, PP means a series of pages, right? And multiple citations in text can be separated like this. Brown NDPP 4950, Smith 2016, page 105. Right? So you should have an idea of this. APA style, elements of resource, authors of journal article. You can go through this. For example, list all authors up to 19 names. For 21 or more, include the first 19 and then an ellipsis followed by the last name of the author. Now, I personally have not seen 19 names coming in anyone, but that's a lot of authors, right? But you have seen how they have done it. You dash, 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 and then the last author's name. In other words, there are more to be included, but they have just stopped at 19 and included the last author at the end of the list of authors and put the 2019 over there. Right? They are specific about the font size, like whenever you are using what font to use, what size font to use, right? Because when you are submitting, when you're publishing something, so every journal would have its requirement. Times New Roman size 12 is the most common, right? You can have lines numbering, you can have page numbering. So many elements are there. So once you practice that, you will be able to learn more as you do the practical part. And these are examples of APA styles, right? You can take a look at that. As you notice, the journal is always in italics. You can see Journal of Law, Medicine, and Ethics, right? So this is the audio file. This is the hyperlink, where it's retrieved from, right? Where it's published, what year it was published, who are the authors, right? Chicago style, right? Here the year comes at the end, as you can see. You have the author first, then the title in inverted commas, then the journal title, volume, issue, year in brackets, year is in brackets, page numbers, and URL if it's online. Right? If you have one author, then it's you can list one author. If there are four or more, you can list up to 10 in a biography, in a bibliography. For more than 10 authors, list the first seven, followed by et al. Right? This is an example of the Chicago style. As you can see, there's an indent also. In other words, the first line is always left aligned, and then there's the indentation. It says half inch, right? And you should leave some space between entries, right? That's when you're laying it out in a designing, then all that is done. And references heading will come in the center, right? So these are all our technical layouting tips. But when you are a content writer, you just have to give the text. You don't have to worry about laying it out. All right, so these are the key takeaways of this presentation. Act of acknowledging sources in your writing typically comprise in-text references, citations, and a reference list. It supports your idea, shows that your work is credible, gives credit to the original authors, shows your readers where they can look for more information. Use references in research papers whenever you have use somebody else's work, ideas, or findings. Communicate others' ideas in two ways, direct quotation or paraphrasing, and both must include a reference. Should be a complete list of all the in-text references used at the end. In other words, if you have 20 references being mentioned as citations, so then we expect at the end of your article, there will be 20 references. And it will not be 20 of the same. In other words, each number will correspond to a separate reference, right? And you can use more than one number throughout the article, right? But it doesn't mean it gets a new number. That reference to is reference to, no matter how many times you use it. Right. So after the key takeaways, I'd like to introduce myself a little further. My name is Dr. Kamal Asnani. I am the medical head and managing director of eMediWrite Private Limited, which I founded. And I also recently founded the BioWriters Business Collective. And together with my students, Sakina and Francie, we three have made this presentation possible. But now I would like to make an offer to people who have watched this. If you are a freelancer or a freelance medical writer and you seek additional projects, industry insights, and a supportive community, so I now invite you to join the BioWriters Business Collective, and this could be the perfect place for you. Let's see what this BioWriters Business Collective is. So this is a community that I founded, and I found that medical writers, aspiring medical writers, healthcare entrepreneurs, when they start their journey, they really need a mentor or a guide, just like I had when I started my journey. So I founded the BioWriters Business Collective, and we focus here on training and mentorship, on building a community and posting freelance projects and help you advance your career as a writer. So the BBC Collective is for science graduates who are mainly looking for career guidance. It's for pharma marketers and brand builders who need writing experience. It's for aspiring medical writers who need a mentor, who are looking for projects on a regular basis, and freelancers and mothers who are at home and they need flexible work opportunities. Then this platform is a blessing in disguise for them because they get all that they would need to, grow further. So here now I am going to share with you the experience of two of our freelance medical writers who joined the collective, and from there, let us see what journey they have to share.
Hello, I'm Sakina Bookseller. I'm a physiotherapist by profession. I've completed my master's in physiotherapy and rehabilitation sciences. I was working as an assistant professor, but after I got pregnant and I had my baby, I left working, was kind of unemployed at home. When my baby was around 7 to 8 months old, and I wanted to do something, and especially which was connected to my background. I did not want to leave the medical paramedical, That's why I started searching what I could do. So I wanted something which I was flexible as well as which was connected to my background. And then I came across medical writing. I had no idea actually that there is something with like medical writing. So I had a vague idea, but was not aware about it much. And then I was searching. I searched a lot. Actually, I've searched for around 4 or 5 months. I only researched about how should I pursue this course. Most of the time, I'm with my baby and my husband is very busy. So I wanted something which I could do from home, which was flexible as well as, I was connected to my background. 3 to 4 months, I just conducted a research just on what are the best, courses. So the most important thing which I found an eMediWrite, it is in itself, it is a medical communication agency. So I believe that it is better to train directly under professionals rather than sit in a classroom and attend lectures every day or every other day. 1 hour lectures. So that was the most attractive thing about eMediWrite. So that is nobody can give that sort of exposure. So as I said that I'm completely an amateur in the field. I had no idea. I didn't know before starting this course that you offer such one-to-one sessions, because it is very difficult in any field to catch hold of a experienced veteran of the field, and then you get to be mentored directly under that person. And if there are others who are viewing this interview, etc., who are interested, then I would encourage them to go for it without second thoughts. You should now, as I have completed this around 3-1 course or more, I felt that I have achieved a new level of confidence, because you have directly given that exposure. Directly when you're making, that you're making this product for a client. So that instills the confidence as you learn on the way, the feedback you get, and then you rectify your mistakes. So that has made me confident, and now I believe that I can start my career independently. Experience was amazing. It was enriching. It was enlightening. Also, I enjoyed working with Sir a lot. And the best part was that I could connect for any doubts, anything. So that's what I'm saying. This is not a very conventional, traditional approach. We don't have that approach. So the flexibility, the accessibility, that's what made this a very wonderful I'm grateful that I got this opportunity. So the best thing, which is the hands-on exposure which I got from you, that I directly got to work on projects which were not like hypothetical; they were actual real projects. If you are connected to medical or science background, and if you're already into research, like you have written researches, you know how to do it, then and you want the flexibility, then I think this is a very good future, a very good career to consider, especially for women, mothers, etc. When you have studied so much throughout your graduation, post graduation, it's a very good opportunity. Also, you offered me during the course. Also, you offered me opportunities for paid works, and also the placement opportunities. You're offering me the assignments, etc. That is also one big thing. So I am really grateful to my stars also that I came here.
Right. So that was the experience of Sakina, and she's Ahmedabad based. And after this, we are in regular in touch, and she's done a lot of projects. She's now a medical coordinator that whenever we have, bulk projects where there are 15, 20 writers, so she manages them, she reviews that work. So we have created a career option for her. Right. So that was Sakina. And now we can listen to what Francie has to say about her experience.
My name is Francie Priyanka. So I have completed master's degree in biotechnology. I'm passionate about pursuing a career in life sciences, and I'm eager to establish myself in this field. After graduating from college, I completed a course in clinical research, but faced many challenges in finding a job. So, medical writing is a versatile field that offers that flexibility to work from home. The process of researching, writing, and refining content keeps me engaged and constantly expanding my knowledge. So, I find a great enjoyment in preparing and writing materials. So, while I was exploring their website, I discovered the certificate program in medical communication, that is CPMC, which piqued my interest. I realized that there was much more to learn and felt the need for guidance. So, this prompted me to enroll in the CPMC course to enhance my skills and knowledge. So, after taking the CPMC course, it significantly boosted my confidence in taking up the projects. So, Dr. Kamal sir's expert guidance was particularly very valuable to me. He offered insights that greatly enhanced my understanding. This training significantly boosted my confidence, enabling me to complete the projects with greater expertise and efficiency. The course provided me with valuable skills in crafting clear and effective medical content. It offered a deep understanding of different projects, hands on experience with real world projects, and practical insights from Dr. Kamal sir. Many programs are mainly focused on theory, whereas CPMC course from eMediRite combines hands-on training. To build a career in medical communications, it is better to enroll in a specialized courses like CPMC, network with professionals, and continuously update your skills.
Right. So that was Francie's experience, and she is also at a similar level as Sakina is in terms of being a coordinator. So she's in it full time, and now she is working from home for us and doing a lot of projects also. And she's made good money. So whatever they invest, they get it back in work. So, it's a win-win. If you have the trust and you have the faith that, yes, this person has been through the journey and it's win-win, so you don't really lose anything. Right. So to join the BioWriters Business Collective, we had started this as a one-to-one, like 1 to 1 rupees, because it was a 1-to-1 interaction. So we have kept it at that only 1-to-1, right? But we do have a lot of members now. So yeah, we are thinking of, we should be charging more for joining the community because, what we offer is so much more. So, but this is an offer to you that by enrolling in the community for 121 rupees, you will get access to exclusive projects. You can network with experts, other writers. Your skills will get enhanced because we do share tips, resources, and regularly we have trainings, so you can attend those. Obviously, whenever there is a project and there's, some we know that, this person is capable of doing this particular project, we give it to them. So it's a limited time offer that I'll just share the process of how to join it. So, right, so this is a QR code, and you can scan this QR code. And once you scan it, you will be taken to a landing page where you just have to fill out your name and your number, mobile number, name, email ID. And once you click on the pay option, and there are many options that you can pay with, there's just 121 rupees, then automatically you will be enrolled onto the community and we will be alerted. So you will be part of the community. So you will get notifications, you will get alerts whenever there's any, free post, training post, projects, you will be in touch with us, on an easy basis. So which is why we created the community, because we needed access to writers and writers needed access to us. So you will get consistent work opportunities. We do pay. Even some people start earning immediately after joining, right? So it's not a long-term wait if you are capable and keen, right? The community will allow you to network with other writers. You will have flexibility. And obviously, I am there to give guidance. And other writers are also there as part of the community who are experienced and trained enough to guide you. So as I was saying, the regular rate for this, we will be revising it to 999. But however, we are still continuing it at the old rate of 121 for now. So scan the QR code and join us. Right. So after the presentation we had done, there are multiple choice questions that you can answer and you can submit for assessment. And we'll give you the certification. Yes, you attended this module. And if you get the answers correct, we will be sending you a certificate that yes, you have attended the course on the references and bibliography. For those of you who have enrolled into the community, our team will get in touch with you soon. And you can always reach out to Rashmi at this number and this email ID, medical@emediright.com, and Rashmi 9899208882. And we hope you learned from it. And we thank the presenters that have contributed and looking forward to sharing more content with you next time.